This tea bucket needed to be candy red. In this video, I'm going to show you how I did it. Candy Apple Red was the creation of renowned car customizer Joe Balin. It is said he was inspired by the glowing red of taillights. It took him years to come up with the formula for a paint finish that looked like liquid you could sink your hand into. I wanted my tea bucket to have that liquid look. I'm building a tea bucket from my collection of miscellaneous parts. I'm doing it late 60s, early 70s style with lots of chrome and big wide tires. You can follow this build in posts from my bench and support this channel at the same time by becoming a patron of Model Car Muse. The link to our Patreon page is in the description. A good paint finish starts with thorough preparation. I started by cleaning up any imperfections, filling sink marks, lightly sanding the body, and mounting the parts on my homemade paint stands. We'll leave a link to my video on how to make these in the description. I applied the first coat of primer using Tamiya Whyte primer. After that dried, I checked for any imperfections that had been revealed and sanded as needed. After a second coat had dried, I lightly sanded again any areas that needed attention. Candy paint is a buildup of color-tinted, translucent paint layers over a metallic or colored base. Then a top coat of clear adds to the perceived depth of the paint and ensures a liquid-like shine. With so many different layers, it's important to test before putting it on the model. From first ideas to final decisions, this was the most extensive paint testing I've ever done. Is it worth the time and effort? Absolutely, because it will save time in the end. I test for 3 reasons. 1, to choose a color. 2, to see how many coats I'll need to reach the look I want. And 3, most importantly, I test for compatibility. When the process involves many different layers of different materials, often of different brands, I want to make sure the products work well together. I'd rather not use the car body to find out one will craze or bubble the other, and then have to strip and start over. So, for this tea bucket build, I tested with spoons. Classic and certainly convenient. And I also had a miscellaneous plastic kit part, in this case a roof, as a final test piece, painting it at the same pace as the tea bucket parts. Plus, I tested the clear on it, which was not done on the spoons. Patrons can see posts of the details of the tests over on my Patreon page. I first tested House of Color Candy and Tamiya paints over pearls and various silvers and golds. Patrons chimed in with suggestions, and I did some more tests. Gold is traditionally the base, under a candy apple red translucent layer, which I tested. But silver is often mentioned as an alternative, especially when using blue. So I also tested silver. I found I liked the final shade of red better with the silver underneath. The red I liked best turned out to be the Tamiya Clear Red X27, the translucent paint I normally use for brake lights. The 5 coats of X27 looked fine over Tamiya silver, but the finish I preferred was over some silver 1-to-1 automotive paint that I had in my paint cabinet. However, the footage you're looking at right now is the silver I actually went with in the end. It's not the paint cabinet paint. I applied 2 even coats, enough to fully cover, because this base coat will be visible under the translucent candy. The first coat of the base revealed a glitch in the door side of the body that didn't show under the primer. After a bit of filler and some sanding, the second coat took care of it. Don't sand after the second coat of base. This second coat has to be perfect. Any sanding marks will show under the layers of translucent color. If you need to fix something else, recoat after sanding. So why did I switch to this base? I was all set to use the automotive paint and Tamiya X27 until I went to the NNL East. At NNL East, I saw Jim Pistol's beautifully styled Corvette. The paint was exquisite. The darker lines showed through the translucent color. He used Tropical Glitz Seductive Blue. And then I met the creator of the paint, Manny Martinez of Tropical Glitz. Manny explained his company has several different paint lines for creating different effects. When he heard I had been testing candy colors, he sent me some of his paint to try. So I did some more tests, and I was hooked. I received several base colors with reflective flake in them and classic translucent candies. First of all, these are RTS, or ready to spray. No adding thinner, just shake them well before using. Also, it's less risky to use one brand for more of the different layers, knowing they are designed to be chemically compatible. I tested all of the colors over all of the bases. The silver I chose is Tropical Glitz Mercury Silver. The color is a neutral silver. The reflective flake is the scale I wanted, and it goes on smoothly. There is a trend to put a black base under any silver. I didn't because it's been my experience that it makes little difference in the end. But I was curious and had some black base, so I tested that as well. Over white is on the left, over black is on the right. Over white looks brighter to me, so I'm glad I went with that. I say put it over whatever looks best to you. The red I chose is called Tropical Glitz Merlot Candy. I liked it because it is a little more of a cherry than a warm apple red. It's a real deep red. The Tamiya X27 looked more orange in comparison. The Merlot Candy over the Mercury base gave me the rich, saturated depth I was looking for with just enough flakes shining through. A note of caution, if you wear gloves, be sure to change them out between products to ensure the dried residue of the previous paint does not contaminate your next layer. The first spritz out of the airbrush or spray can is never onto the part. I do this each time I change parts or refill the cup. I apply with steady, even passes, starting before the part and ending after it. You will apply the first coat and be insanely disappointed in how light pink it looks, hence the importance of testing. Don't panic, the color will not be there yet. Then I wait. Paint should be sufficiently dry, allowing the paint to settle and the solvent to start dissipating before applying the next coat. I respected the flash times in the instructions from Tropical Glitz. This video is not sponsored, but Tropical Glitz did send paint at no cost for this tea bucket build. Tropical Glitz started out by serving the one-to-one car market. They are also concentrating on meeting the needs of scale modelers and other artists, formulating to-scale paint products and understanding how modelers create their art. The second coat started to reveal the true color. I tried to apply it not too wet, not too dry. I don't fog on too lightly, and I don't put on too much or it will start to pool on the edges or drip. Then I let that flash. The third coat took the parts almost to the saturation I was looking for. After allowing it to flash, I decided I wanted a fourth coat. I wanted a really saturated red. And this was looking so good, it almost didn't need a clear coat. Keep in mind when it comes to selecting a paint color, the final decision should be made in the type of lighting the model will most commonly be displayed under. Real cars are seen most often in sunlight. Models are displayed indoors, where the lighting is different color temperatures. After testing Tamiya Flat Clear TS80 to make sure it was compatible with the candy paint, I used it to overcoat the interior bucket in matte. I like the satin quality it gives the upholstery over this red paint. As nice as the paint finish was after the fourth coat, I wanted to be able to polish it lightly and didn't want to be working on the red color coats. With solid paints I can polish between coats, but with candy the color changes with each layer. Tropical Glitz does sell a 2K clear. One-to-one cars need a clear coat with UV protection because they are outside in the sun, but models don't. Manny assured me the Tamiya would be fine. I used my finest grade polishing pads, then a liquid compound, then liquid polish. On a super microscopic level, even a very smooth paint finish has little mountain peaks and valleys. First, the pads remove the peaks off the tops of the mountains, creating plateaus. Next, the compound on a cloth evens out the finish a little more, and polish will do the same. I used a white cloth for the compound and polish because I could inspect the cloth to make sure no red was showing. That would indicate I'd gone through the clear coat into the paint. Then I washed the part and let it dry thoroughly. Finally, I waxed it with automotive-grade carnauba wax to protect it. I'm so glad I met Manny at NNL East. I got to learn things about paint I hadn't known, and I appreciate his company's dedication to our hobby. Thank you, Manny, for the paint. Check out the links in the description. If you choose to use our links, we may earn a small commission at no cost to you. If you try candy paint, let us know how it goes in the comments. Follow your muse wherever you may find it, and may there always be a project on your bench. Thanks for watching.